morning, everyone. My name is John Romano, and I am one of the education advisors here at CyberTrading University. I'd like to thank you all for attending today's orientation. And I wanted to start off by just having a quick sound check to make sure that you can hear me before we get started. So if you can hear me fine, if you could just put a note in the chat to let me know, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, perfect. All right, thanks so much for responding. So let's go ahead and get started. So welcome to the trial of the trading room and to our material here at CyberTrading University. The purpose of the trial is for you to learn a little bit more about what we do and then to ultimately be able to decide if this is something that you'd like us to teach you how to do. So we know that there are a lot of choices out there in the world in terms of trading, and we find that this is going to be the best way for you to be able to make an educated decision as to whether or not this is something that would work for you. So we're excited to have you on board this week. I'd like to start by saying that when you first signed up, you received a few emails from us. Of course, you got a receipt for your purchase, but you would have also gotten an email with a link in it that will allow you to go on to what we call your dashboard. So you can see up on the screen here, this is my dashboard, just a sample dashboard that I put together, so you can see what it looks like. So when you click on that link in the email, it'll take you to a screen that will look similar to this. If you see any other type of screen that doesn't look quite like this, that says your name as it being your dashboard, find the dashboard button at the top, this one up here, and click on it, and it will bring you back to this home page. So this is a great starting point for starting the trial. So from this page, of course, you can see the name of your advisor. It may be me. You can also see that you are currently a trial member. And as far as our training goes, you're considered a beginner student. So you really haven't signed up for any of our formal training yet. The most important thing that you need to know during the trial is that this tab up here on top, My Cyber Group, is going to be the area that contains everything that you need to use during the trial. So make sure that you are able to get into this screen from your email. And if you have any problems at all, you can, of course, be able to email me or give us a call here in the office, and I'll be able to walk through this with you individually. Now, if any of you did not receive the link, what I would recommend is after this webinar, give the office a call. And again, the phone number is right up here on the screen, and ask for me, and I'll be happy to resend you that link so that you can get started. All right, so I know that Janice and Janie, well, Janie said she didn't get the link, so give us a call right after this, and we'll do that. You should be able to, Janice, see this shared screen that says John's dashboard. If not, I would log out and log back in again, and you should be able to see that. So getting started, if we go back up to this cyber group, this My Cyber Group tab, you'll see there are three choices here. So you have Enter Live Trading Room, you have Access Traders Talk, and you have Access Trial Workshops. So keep in mind that the trial is made up of really two pieces. You have the ability to go into our live trading environment and watch us trade with our students. But you also have access to a bunch of videos. These are paid content videos that are going to be available for you to watch this week. So these are not videos you'll find on YouTube. These are actually videos that you get only either by subscription or as part of the trial. So they are definitely going to have some decent content within them to help you understand what it is that we do and why we trade the way that we do. So the first category, the link to the room. The second and third category are going to be links to areas that have videos. And we're going to go back through that in a little bit. But I wanted to at least point that out. When you go later on to look at the videos, you'll know where to go to find them. So for right now, we're going to click on the Enter Live Trading Room link. And you're going to see a screen that looks like this. One thing that I'll point out early on is the program that we use for our trading room. It's called Webinato. It works best with Google Chrome. So it may work intermittently with other browsers like Firefox, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge. However, if you want to have a more seamless entry into the live trading room on a regular basis. Google Chrome seems to work better. It's a free download. It's a decent browser. You may want to put that on your machine if you don't have it. So make sure that you are clicking in using that browser. So you can see it's flashing on air, which basically means that the trading room is open and you're able to go ahead and click on it. So go ahead and click that green button there when you go to do this, and it's going to take you to this screen that says attendee, and it's going to show your name, and this little link here is important to point out as well. So when you start to trade, you may decide that you want to separate the screens. You'll see in our trading room that we have the charts, but we also have a chat area. So there is a way by unchecking this where it will open up in 2 tabs, and you'll be able to have the charts on one tab and the chat on the other. So this works out great if you have more than one monitor in your setup. But for purposes of the trial, I always recommend leaving it checked off so it's all in one section. So we're going to go ahead and click Enter Webinar. And it's going to say that right here, this is the message you'll see sometimes if it doesn't go in successfully, or if you've already been in the room earlier in the day. It's going to say you or someone with your credentials is already logged in. So I had done that earlier. So I'm going to say, go ahead and let me in. I'm going to click Enter Webinar. All right, so now you're basically now going to be able to see the trading room. Let me switch over to that. So this is the trading room. So basically what you're able to see here is the environment that we're going to be using every day to trade live with. So what you can do is you'll be able to see that we have it broken up into a few sections here. So we have the charts and graphs up on the center of the screen, which we're using to point out whatever stocks it is that we are using at the moment to trade with. And you'll be able to see here that we're currently looking at Twitter. And you can see we have our time charts up on top. We have scanners down below. One of the first things I always like to point out is at the very top of the screen here is a little square right below where it says screen sharing that will make it full screen. So you can actually click that, and it will make the charts into the full screen picture. So this allows you to see everything that we're trading with. So you can see up here we have the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the daily chart, all these time charts. On the bottom left, we have some of our scanners. We have the top 20 biggest gainers and losers. We have a custom scanner that CTU has put together that allows stocks to pop up that fall within certain criteria that we look for in our trades. To the right of that, we have your standard market depth chart, or your level 2 that many people have seen in the past. This is going to show you the best bid and ask price coming in through all the different ECNs that are trading this stock. If we continue to move over to the right, you're going to see what we call time and sales. So time and sales right here on the right is going to show every single trade that has been executed so far, whether it's 1 share or 1 million shares. It will show up in this row here. This one to the left, a lot of folks always ask, why do we have 2? So this one is what we call our big block time and sales, and it shows only trades of 1,000 shares or larger. So the way to quantify how many shares are on each of these rows would be to add 2 zeros to this number. So this one at the top here that says 17 is actually 1,700 shares. So it qualifies to fit into this one because it's over 1,000 shares. And the reason that we do that is a big part of our trading is based off of volume. And so we want to be able to not only see every trade over here, but we want to be able to see at a glance all the large trades that are popping up and getting executed so that we can then use that to our advantage. The last screen that you're going to see on the far right here is going to be what we call level 3. TradeStation calls it the matrix. Other browsers, other platforms use it, call it by different names. If you're using the NASDAQ feed for level 3, which many of you may have to do if you don't have a platform that has it embedded like this does, they call it book viewer. So again, there are different views of it, but it gives you this ladder view, which is an enhanced look at your level 2 market depth. We call it level 3, and it's going to show you all the orders that are pending on a price movement. So for example, here on the blue side, which is the buy side or the bid side, you can see that these orders all out down here have not yet executed because the price hasn't gotten that low yet. And on the red side or the sell side, these are folks that are looking to make money above the current price, so they're not willing to sell until the price approaches that level. So this gives us a huge advantage in trading, which Fausto talks about in his webinars, because we're able to see into the future of it and be able to see what potential orders are out there that haven't yet executed. So this is everything that's up on the screen here. To get back to your standard view, just hit the escape key on your keyboard, and it will take you back to this screen here. Now, one of the other things that I always like to point out about the trading room is that there are several different ways you can communicate with your advisor throughout your trial. You can always email or call the office, and you do have the phone number right there on your dashboard. The most convenient way to chat with your advisor is going to be through private message in the trading room. So one of the things that you can actually do is you can find the name of the staff member up here on top left that you'd like to talk to, and just left click on their name and choose private message. Now that's going to open up a window here, and you can see we have general chat where everyone's chatting. We have announcements, we have tech support, and then we have my name now. So this is a private message area where we can chat back individually with any questions that you may have. Now, the trading room itself is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. For purposes of the trial, I normally say at least try and be in by 9 a.m. Eastern time. And the reason for that is we have 3 audio meetings each day, and the very first one is at 9 a.m. with Fausto. And so that's one that you don't want to miss. What we basically do at 9 a.m., Fausto will come on, he'll take a look at the pre-market and come up with a list of stocks that he thinks would be worth looking at as we move into the open. So these are stocks that he's actually looking to trade himself, and that list will be shared with the entire group in the room during that time. So it's great to be in at 9 to see what the morning is going to look like before it even opens. So that happens at 9 a.m. Eastern, and you'll see a message bar pop across here that will show the picks. Now, if you ever log in and you don't see the picks or they're already gone on the large message here, you can always click on announcements, and we always store the watch list from the morning and the afternoon right here. So you can see the stocks that were up on the list. And as I said before, we had Twitter up on the screen, so that would make sense since that was one of our morning picks. The second audio meeting of the day is at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, and that's basically going to be after the lunch slowdown is over. Fausto will come back on a second time, and he will update the list, so we have something fresh to look at for the last hour and a half of the trading day. So that'll be coming up at 2:30 Eastern this afternoon. And then the third and final time that you'll hear sound in the room will be at 4 o'clock, right after the closing bell. Our instructor, Josh, will come on and do a wrap-up before we shut down the room for the day. And we'll talk about things like, how did our picks do today, give students an opportunity to chime in and let us know how they did personally. We'll talk about any latest news in the market, and of course, any stocks that closed out in a way that we might want to keep our eye on them in the morning. We'll talk about that as well. So just a general wrap-up before we shut down the room at 4:30 Eastern time. Now, during the rest of that time, when we're not on those audio meetings, and each of those lasts about 15 or 20 minutes long, the rest of the time we're relying on the chat here at the bottom. So this is an area where everyone can chime in, and once you learn how to trade with us, you can recommend stocks, as Lawrence is doing here. You can also chat about things that are moving, or about things that questions you may have. This gives an opportunity for Fausto and Josh and other staff to be able to chime in and share important information with us. So this is really going to be our communication center when we're not on the audio during those 3 times of the day. So that's basically going to be the trading room itself. Now, I just want to say that one of the other important things about the trading room is every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, we step away from the trading room for an hour. We leave it open, but we switch our concentration since it is during a slower time of the day, and we do a special workshop. It's called Traders Talk, and it's actually going to be today. Today's Tuesday, so you can join as a trial member at 1 o'clock Eastern today. And the way you would do that is right here in this room on this chat area, you'll see a link that Josh will post that you'll be able to click on to take you to one of our other rooms, our training room, where we do Traders Talk. Now, Traders Talk is going to be a Q&A for an hour long. So we're going to be spending time answering questions that students have sent in. And then we're also going to spend some time going through some trades that we took earlier that day in detail. So Josh will typically go through and pull up a few trades and just break them apart, all the way from why they were tradable to entry, all the way through exit, pull up the charts, let us all see what it looked like as we went through it. So definitely an educational hour that folks really get a lot out of. And as a trial member, it's going to be a great way for you to see more detail into how we trade. Traders Talk is recorded every week. And so as I mentioned earlier, just to refer back to the dashboard that we talked about, and when we talked about my cyber group, you were able to see that the second choice on that list after the live trading room link was Traders Talk. And so that's where you'll click on to be able to go in and see the recordings of those events. So all of those weekly sessions that we do are going to actually be available for you to be able to watch those at your leisure. And even today's Traders Talk, once it's recorded, will be up on your dashboard likely by tomorrow morning, so you'll be able to join in and doing that. So again, those Traders Talk videos are going to be very helpful to help you understand a little bit more about what we do and why we trade the way that we do. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to point out earlier when we were on the dashboard and we saw the third choice that said trial workshops, basically this is a second video area that's more specific. So currently the videos that we have up there are going to be related to level 3, the ECN book. So there's an hour workshop on that. And there's also a multi-hour workshop on pre-market trading, which is something that we also do. Once you learn how to trade in the day market, a lot of times students will want to learn how to trade before 9:30. And it's not something that we recommend until you've learned how to day trade, because it's a little bit trickier in that there's no volume since the market's closed at that point. But it is a great way to make additional money as well. So it tells you a little bit more about how that whole process works as well. So you can definitely join in and watch some of those videos as well. Between Traders Talk and trial workshops, there are over 100 hours of video content that's up there for you to watch this week. So feel free to do that. And again, as I said before, if you have any questions whatsoever as you go through the trial this week, make sure that you reach out to your education advisor to be able to troubleshoot those problems and get you back on track again. So basically what we've gone through today is talked about the trading room, and the goal of the trading room for you as the trial member is going to be to observe what we're doing, what we're trading, what types of stocks we trade. We typically trade stocks that are between $1 and $60 a share. But I always say to my trial students that I work with, 90% of the people that are in this trading room right now are students of ours. So they have gone through the training with us, and they are using this room as a tool to trade every day. So they're going to be using Fausto's morning and afternoon meeting to be able to get a head start on what they might jump in and trade. For the other 10%, which are trial students like yourselves, I always recommend using this as an opportunity to observe and ask questions, and then watch the videos as well, and use this as a way to decide if you want to learn how to do this for your current trading, for your trading going forward. So with that in mind, I wanted to just finish off by saying that you'll probably be getting a follow-up call from your education advisor at some point after this event today, just to be asked to follow up on any questions that you may have. And also, as Fausto mentioned during the webinar, there's an opportunity to speak to him directly as well. So a lot of folks really enjoy the ability to do that, to be able to talk through what they've done in the past and what they really would like to accomplish going forward. And so that's our goal here, is to get you on track for what your goals are down the road. So with that in mind, I just wanted to take a quick look at any questions that may have came in. So one of the things that I see here, Roger's asking, is level 3 the same as Bookfinder? So I'm not sure where you're finding Bookfinder. I can tell you that NASDAQ you calls it Book Viewer. Interactive Brokers calls it Book Trader. TradeStation uses it, calls it the Matrix. So again, Roger, this is something that if you have specific questions about that, you can feel free to call in after this session, or when I or one of your advisors calls out to you a little bit later on, you can of course follow up on that question as well. So Marlon was asking, said he had some connection problems. So this is recorded, and a link will go out to all the attendees shortly after the event, so you'll be able to rewatch what we did today. And if you don't want to wait for the replay, just call the office and ask for your advisor, and they'll be happy to help you with any questions you may have. Johnny had said, how did you change views again? So I'm not sure which view change you're referring to. If it was the full screen view, I'll do that again for you. So with the standard view that opens up when you open up the webinar, you would go to the top, and you would, right below screen sharing, you'll see this little square that's in 4 pieces, and you can see that when you highlight it, it says full screen. So you click on that, puts on this full view, and then to get back, you hit the escape key, and it puts you back to the minimized view. So if that's not what you were referring to, you can either update your comments here in the chat or give us a call, and we can help you with that as well. Russell wants to know what's an ECN. So that's a good question. So there are networks out there. They're called electronic communication networks, and each of them trades certain types of stocks. And so depending on what stock it is, they'll be flowing through different networks. So to give you a great example of what an ECN is, we'll go back to full view, and you can see under the level 2 chart here, these are all ECNs. So you'll see them all listed here, the stock exchange, the NASDAQ. These are all networks that trade the stocks. So for example, if you don't use TradeStation and you want to get level 3, say you use Thinkorswim, which does not have level 3 built in, you can go on to data.nasdaq.com and download BookViewer, and that is going to give you all the stocks that flow through the NASDAQ ECN. Now, the nice thing about using the NASDAQ program is they end up trading a majority of stocks that are out there, so you're going to miss out on very few stocks by using that. With TradeStation, of course, you're going to get multi-ECN level 3. So I always recommend, if you're not emotionally attached to your platform or you're looking for a new platform, TradeStation is a great choice. And you'll get all of these different ECNs through your data subscription with them. But if you have a broker or a platform that you've been using for a while and you're comfortable with it, NASDAQ BookViewer is going to be a great choice to be able to get level 3. Let's see what other questions we have here. Jim said, if we continue with the monthly subscription to the trading room, do we receive any additional education? So this is a good question. So right now with the trial, you're getting a piece of everything. You're getting some education, you're getting the trading room. Most students, when they go through the trial and they decide to continue on, will move into the education program formally. Remember that one of the biggest mistakes that folks make over the years when they try and learn how to trade is they try and teach themselves. And the failure rate for that is between 85 and 90%. It's very high. So I always say, if you wanted to become a doctor and you were to try and teach yourself, you probably end up with a lot of malpractice suits. So trading is not as intuitive as it was years ago. It really requires you to align yourself with a trader or an organization that knows how to do this. And so that's going to make the difference in a lot of cases between success and failure. So continuing on in the trading room after the trial would really only make sense if you really wanted some more time to take a look at what we do and then make a decision about training. Training is going to be super important to being successful with any training program. And we offer a lot of flexibility when it comes to getting you into the program. Our goal is to get everyone trained on how to do this successfully and to minimize your risk of losing money. And we've been doing this for over 22 years, so we've gotten quite good at it. So if you were to continue on with the trading room at the $87 a month, it would only give you access to this room. So you'll be able to come in throughout the day, Monday through Friday, and see Fausto's call-outs in the morning and the afternoon, take part in the afternoon meeting. Anything else that you would want to do from an education perspective, you would have to just join one of the education programs that we offer. Just so you know, all of our education is laid out clearly on our website, cybertradinguniversity.com. Click on the education tab, and everything is laid out there very clearly. But that's going to be my recommendation for anyone that's serious about learning how to trade. We have a couple more minutes. Russell asked, how can we give up the day job? So that's a good question. We have a mixture of retirees and part-timers as well as full-timers. So what I normally recommend is not quitting your job until you've gotten through and learned how to do this. You want to be able to have money coming in before you shut off other resources for income. So what a lot of our students that work full-time will do is they will join the program. All of our education is recorded as well as live, so you can actually take part in the training in whatever pace that you want. And then if your job allows you to have some hours where you're able to be in the trading environment during market day, whether it be in the morning or in the afternoon, you would start to practice. From that point, once you grasp the concepts and you start to trade live and start making money, that would be the point to transition to giving up the day job. But again, everyone's situation is different. We have students that still work part-time and are able to trade from work. So it really depends on your flexibility. Augustin wants to know if there's a different room for the graduates. So this trading room is our live trading environment. And as I said before, most of the people in here are trading live with us every day and have actually learned how to trade from Fausto. So this would be the same environment that you would be in once you graduate from the program and start to trade live. We do have another room that is open during class time that we teach. Because remember that we don't want to teach education in here and take away from this intent of this room, which is to be able to trade live and make your money. So the training room is going to be another room we have where you would go through all the classes and learn all of that live with Fausto. So that is one of our other rooms. I'll take these last three questions and then we'll have to wrap up. So Roger's asking, you have level 2 on the bottom middle of the screen and level 3 on the right. What is in between them? So we'll go back to full screen. So here's the level 2 Roger's referring to, and here's the level 3 that he's referring to. In between here, this is time and sales. So for those of you that are a bit older like I am, you're familiar with the old the tape, where it used to chug along a little piece of paper and print the numbers on it. This is the electronic version of that, or the tape. So this is going to show you all the orders that have already executed. And so this is something that is critical to the way that we trade. Dave asked if the Interactive Brokers Book Trader shows all the stocks or just NASDAQ stocks. So it would depend on what data subscription you have through IB. I'm not familiar with them enough to be able to answer that for sure. I'm pretty sure they probably offer a few different levels of membership within IB, and depending on how much data you're getting would show what stocks you're going to be seeing. So you'd have to check with them. If they're only showing you the NASDAQ ECN, then you're only going to be seeing that. If you're enrolled through them with multiple ECN data, then you would see multiple ECNs just like you do here on TradeStation. What was the name of the book dealer for NASDAQ from Janice? So again, you can call the office if you need specifics, but the website is data.nasdaq.com, and you choose the very first choice on the left side, which says Book Viewer. It's $14.95, I believe, per month payable to NASDAQ, and unless you have a platform that has level 3 embedded in it, like TradeStation, that would be the best way to get that data. And again, Janice, if you have other questions, feel free to call in. We'll help you. Last question, Russell said, do you help us set up all the screens in TradeStation? So this is actually a great question. So one of the perks of joining our training program after the trial is, since we use TradeStation in our room and in our training, all of these custom screens that we put up, all the volume bars and the color layouts and things like that, are all available through files that we've built over time. So for all education students that go through the formal training program, we provide these screens free of charge, and we even help you get them set up. They all come with instructions. Our goal, again, if you're with TradeStation, is to have consistency between what you're seeing in the trading room and what you have up on your screen on your live platform. Also, just so you know, for anyone that goes through our formal training program, both TradeStation and Thinkorswim will give you a 20% discount on your commissions. And the intent is to pay you back for your tuition over time. So for example, with TradeStation, which normally charges $4.95 a trade round trip, you would end up paying $3.95 a trade instead. So you can see how once you start trading more frequently, you could save a bunch of money doing that. So that's the advantage of, say, for example, those two platforms that are out there. So that's everything that I wanted to go through today, and it looks like we've addressed all the questions that have come through. So thank you for being so active with the questions. They were all really good questions and ones that I come up against all the time. Most important thing that I can iterate to you right now is the trial is something that we want you to have a great experience with, and whether you decide to continue on or not, we want you to come out of it knowing exactly what we do and being able to decide if this is something you think you would like to do. You're going to see lots of great trades in the trading room, especially if you're in the morning where the market opens up. But again, if you have any questions at all, I would encourage you to call the office and ask for your education advisor. That's what we're all here for. And as we move through the trial together, if anything comes up, technology issues, any questions that you haven't been able to get answered, just call into us and we'll be able to help you. That's what our goal is here at CTU. All right, so I want to thank you all for joining today. As I said, over the next day or two, you'll be hearing from us with an opportunity for additional questions. And aside from that, thank you again for joining the trial, and we'll see you in the trading room. Thanks so much.